Team of Fluent Artists, welcome. We are live. Type your name, where you from in the chat so I know that you can hear me. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get right into it, all right? Because I know why you're here. You want to sell your art online and create some predictability to your art sales, all right? And so we're going to show you exactly how to do that in today's live presentations, man. So like Tierra sold Galactic Jellies for 2K. Jasmine got some print sales right there. Man, we're going to talk about Jasmine's story about how she was able to sell over $15,800 in only 20 days. Man, she also set a goal to get to like 5K a month to quit her job. She ended up making over $5,500 in the first week. They got some cash on the table for Miss Joe right there. Some more sales from Jasmine Tierra. When she taught her sons how to sell their art. King Art with some cash on the table. John Tay with a $2,000 lamb piece. All right, so artists are getting sales like this all over the country and in different parts of the world. All right, like my man Joe Woods with this $2,000 sale right here. Shout out to Joe. Miss Sahara, man, she invited her daughter Sign You to the community. You see her cash. Tasha sold this piece for over $1,000. Miss Joe Z. All right, so artists just like you are using this process that I'm going to walk you through right now to sell their art online. They're breaking their sales records. And most importantly, man, they are predictably getting collectors without having to wait on galleries, worrying about algorithms, or posting 24/7. There's another sale by Tierra, Miss Joy up in Canada with that Canadian cash on the table. Brittany got a sale as well. All right, so come in, type your name and where you're from in the chat. I want to make sure that you can hear me. And we're going to get right into it. Another $1,000 sale for Jasmine. More sales for Z. John Tay. Another one with Z. All right. Miss Florence right there. Miss Virginia. All right. We got so many different artists selling art. Christian right there. $540 sale. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So, man, if you are excited about selling your art online with some consistency, just type yes in the chat. All right, type yes in the chat for me. Because I know a lot of you are just ready to go full-time if you aren't already. All right? If you want to be a full-time artist, type yes in the chat, all right? And so listen, if you haven't succeeded in the past, it is not your fault. The art industry does not teach us how to sell our art, and they strategically block us from accomplishing that goal, okay? And so I want to share a little bit of Jasmine's story, how she was able to overcome that when she became an affluent artist. So she said, let me put this in perspective for you guys. For years, I gave away my art for free. I joined Affluent Artists January last year. 1 year ago, I was still selling most of my art for $200. And my biggest sale this time last year was $500 to a hospital. This month, if I made no more money for the next 10 days, I would have total to make $15,800. I am floored. I never thought this was possible for me. She said, thank you, Sherez, for giving us the tool to make this passion into a business and for investing your time into my life. All right, type yes in the chat if you'd like to make over $15,000 in only 20 days. Just type yes in the chat for me. All right, want to make sure I see these yeses coming through. All right, and so if you're here, my goal is simple. I want to help you become an affluent artist. All right, I want to help two types of artists in this presentation. And so if you are a new artist, you'll get a step-by-step blueprint on how to create art that sells itself on Instagram, so you can become an affluent artist that collectors love to buy and tell everyone about. If you are a master artist among us, you'll get the affluent artist secrets on how to smoothly transition to selling your art online at higher prices, keep more of your money, and get the worldwide recognition and status you deserve from the art industry. And then every affluent artist gets access to the brand new artwork app that makes it simple to sell your art and keep collectors buying over and over again. And so this new opportunity is the key to your desire to consistently sell art online. And it's only achievable by becoming an affluent artist. And so if I help you become an affluent artist so you can make more money selling art, type yes in the chat if you will promise to spend a little bit of that with me and my company in the future, all right? And so my name is Sherez, and like many of you, I've been an artist my entire life. And so that picture at the top left, that's young Sherez right there. Man, when I was a kid, I used to love drawing the cartoons, the cereal boxes. One of my favorite things to draw was the Ninja Turtles. The picture at the bottom left, that's a self-portrait I did of myself and my son for his first birthday. And I'm also a hooper. I love basketball. From Atlanta, man, I went to D1 up in Chicago, and I absolutely love hooping. All right. Now, while I was in college, though, I didn't have any collectors, man, sales skills, you can forget about it. Plus, my house burned down the day after Christmas in 2007, and I ended up losing everything, my family and I lost all of my art, right? And that was kind of like taking a sucker punch to the gut, man. And I ended up becoming a starving artist dropout in 2007. And so, man, as you can imagine, my confidence was low. Literally had just lost all of my art. It was still hard to sell art, and I was trying to break into the art industry, but I just couldn't really find my way. And so I was like, man, I don't want to have this experience forever. So I became obsessed with mastering business online because I really wanted to know how to sell my art and be a successful full-time artist. And so I knew the first thing I needed was a mentor. So I ended up writing a letter to 19 multimillionaires that had internet businesses. And this gentleman right here, Mike Koenigs, he was one of the first people that responded. And he was so impressed with my ability to market to him and get his attention that he actually hired me to do a product launch. And we ended up making $1,800,000 in 7 days. All right. So that's almost $2 million in a week. And that campaign went on to make over $2,800,000 in the following 8 weeks. Okay. And so shout out to Mike, man. And just with all of that wisdom and knowledge that I gained selling these products and services online, I ended up becoming a #1 best-selling business author. And so I've traveled around the world teaching people how to sell their products and services online with my #1 bestseller, How to Create Lifetime Customers. And I've also helped celebrities like Cynthia Bailey market her products and services. And I've helped a lot of creators just like you make money. Now, even with this success, I still had dreams of being a full-time artist, all right? And then I had an epiphany. I said, you know what? Artists that have that feast of famine or that income roller coaster where you're selling some months, that you're not selling as much different months, right? Some artists, man, it's like that for years. And that really only means that you don't have a consistent flow of collector leads and sales. Then I was like, what would happen if I applied those #1 best-selling internet marketing and sales principles to find art? And so I had a crazy plan. I said, I'm going to host my first art event and sell out the show. I was right. And most importantly, the artist was selling art. All right. And we ended up selling a piece for over $2,000 at that first event. I type yes in the chat if you like to sell a piece for $2,000 or more at your first or next event. All right. And so this is my friend, Melissa Mitchell, and she's an affluent artist in every sense of the word. She was one of the artists at that event. And she said, back to this dope art investors event by Sharess. All of these pieces sold and have already doubled in value. Now, while we were doing this event, I realized we had some very real problems, okay? So the first thing was like doing it the old way, it cost me over $5,000 up front. And I knew a lot of artists didn't just have $5K to set up an event, rent a space out, hire the videographer, photographer, the food, all of that stuff to have an art event. But when we were selling art, man, because artists were using tools like Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Square, literally anything they could, all of our art sales were disorganized. This left everything hard to track. And the biggest problem was we couldn't easily follow up with the collectors that had just spent thousands of dollars with us, all right? And if you get collectors to spend money with you in some of these tools, man, you don't get their address. You oftentimes don't get their email address, and you definitely don't get the credit card information so you can follow up and easily make second, third, fourth, and fifth sales, okay? And so this is what inspired the Affluent Artist Movement. Because I couldn't find a solution, I had to create a new way for you to have 100% unlimited access to your collector's information and a tool that makes everything easy to sell your art on and offline. As an affluent artist, you need a system that accepts payments up to $1 shy of $1 million at least, easily sell your art anywhere, in person or online. You should be able to track all of your artwork, your sales, and your collector's information in one place. Ideally, collectors can buy your art with one click, like on Amazon, and collectors can track their net worth in your art as well, so they can see your value increase as an artist, okay? And then one thing that's really important, I wanted to create a system that brought collectors to you, so then we didn't have to go out and constantly be chasing collectors, okay? And so back to that first art show, all right? So we set a goal to sell out the entire show, but we didn't reach the goal of selling all of the artwork, but I did sell 2/3 of the art. Most important to me, every artist there made a sale and they made money. And we had sales of $500, $1,500, and one artwork sold for $2,000, okay? And so we took this show on the road. This is me down in Miami at Art Basel. I started helping a bunch of other artists and consulting them on how to sell more art at their shows and at their live events, okay? And so we were having success in different parts of the country selling art at these shows. Then I was like, man, what would happen if we started to apply this to sell art online so we can reach more collectors? And so I started working with a small group of artists, and man, we were having some great results, man. So Chris Smith, she was one of them, and she had a really interesting story because she only had 32 collectors on her email list, right? And that's a small number. But using what I'm about to show you, she ended up getting 13 art sales from a small list of only 32 collectors with one email. Type yes in the chat if you like to send out one email and get 13 or more sales on your next promotion. All right, type yes in the chat for me. And then Santana, she got a $360 commission right here. And then my man Dwayne, he says sold, another piece of art gone like a win. All right. And so if you struggle, listen, it is not your fault. I'm an artist as well. I went to the College of Art and Design, and I had some incredible teachers, were really inspired by my fellow classmates, but they didn't really teach us how to sell art, how to market ourselves, and really build a collector base. All right. And so if you've been struggling with this, literally, it's not your fault, man, because they have not taught us how to do this. And so after we were having success online, I was like, man, I really want to start selling to collectors globally. Okay. But the solution was hard and expensive to create. So I ended up blowing over $30,000 and over a year hiring 2 dev teams to create artwork that didn't finish the app. I ended up investing every penny to my name. So I really thought about giving up, but I knew going back to the old way wouldn't work for me. So I found a 3rd dev team and I tried one more time. All right, y'all, listen, the new artwork app and the automated collector system I created, it started working so well. Many artists were selling art within 7 days. And so Kira, she was one of the first artists we helped. And she was only 18 when she got started, man. And I was blown away because she holds the fastest sale record, and she made a sale in only 19 hours after we taught her how to sell. I type yes in the chat if you're here and you want to start getting some fast sales like Kira. And then Affluent Artist Z, he posted in the community. He said, I haven't had a chance to report on my record-breaking success this past week. He ended up making over, he's selling over 7 prints and 8 commissions, and he had over 1,800 in deposits within 1 week. Type yes in the chat if you like to start selling multiple prints and commissions in 1 week. All right. And then Affluent Artist Jennifer, this is one of my favorite stories because she's a single mother of 4 kids, and she sold a piece in a little over 24 hours. She said it took a little longer than 24 hours, but I have my first sale. It's amazing how much money I left on the table by not following up. All right. And so if you have if you have collectors that you haven't followed up with in a while, we have a system to show you how to get them to make repeat purchases, okay? And if you understand business, the money is in the long game. So we got to get your collectors to make follow-up purchases, all right? And so then, man, one of the things I love about Jen, she continued to work on her art business, and she went to Art Basel, and she got invited down there, and she ended up selling this piece for $5,840 at Art Basel. Type yes in the chat if you like to sell some art at Art Basel, okay? And then she continued to just grow in her career, and she got invited to London to attend Sotheby's Art Business Institute of Art. And so, man, she's from Chicago. She got invited to Sotheby's to learn from Sotheby's and Christie's on how they do auctions, how they sell multi-million-dollar works of art. All right. Type yes in the chat if you would love to learn from Sotheby's and Christie's, who are 2 of the biggest art businesses in the world, about how they're selling art for millions of dollars. Just type yes in the chat, okay? And so listen, after creating and helping all kinds of artists around the world transform into affluent artists, I realized we no longer had to wait for galleries to accept us or wait on word of mouth to sell art or already have a big following on social media. Listen, the truth is that old way of being a starving artist was dead, okay? And so if you're here right now, this is your golden ticket to a full-time successful art career, and we can help you start to get predictable sales every single month with collectors coming to you, okay? Now, in order to do this, I need something from you, and it's simple. That's belief, all right? I will give you the solution to become a full-time affluent artist, but you have to believe that you can do it and put it into action, all right? Because nothing hurts me more than giving you the game, then seeing you weeks, months, or years later clinging to the same starving artist problems. And so if you want to start setting sales goals like Brescia Jones and exceeding those sales goals, type yes in the chat for me. She said, for the first quarter of this year, I set a goal to make $12K. As of today, I'm super happy to have hit $13,000 instead. Keep going, motivation, affluent artist. I type yes in the chat if you want to start to surpass your sales goals like Brescia. And so we started having so much success helping artists that some senators from the country of Barbados flew me in to help those artists sell their art to collectors around the world. And so when the pandemic happened around us, the tourism dried up for the country of Barbados and people stopped coming. And so that really devastated the art industry. And so those artists weren't able to sell their art anymore. And so they brought me in to help them get access to a global marketplace of collecting. We're going to show you how we did that, okay? And I've also been invited to speak at BlackRock about art investing. All right. Now, if you don't know, BlackRock is one of the world's largest asset managers, and they have over $10 trillion in assets under management. Okay. And that was a few years back. So it's probably much more than that. All right. And so type yes in the chat if you like to get access to wealthy collectors that look at buying your art as an investment. Type yes in the chat. We should definitely see the yeses coming through. I see some yeses. Yoshi, Joshua. All right. Now, after over 20 years in business and helping artists sell worldwide, just type yes in the chat for me if it's your turn to get new collectors and sell your art online. Just type yes in the chat if it's your turn, if you're ready to rock and roll, okay? Because once you discover these 3 secrets, you'll have the keys to get new collectors online so you can accomplish your dream vision for your art. And so Abrisha, using these methods that I'm about to show you right now, she got a $5,008 sale from a new collector, okay? Type yes in the chat if you want to sell your first or next piece for over $5,000. Now, something really funny about Brescia, she don't just sell art for $5,000. She got to put a number on the end. So it's 5,008. You might see like, 7,009. She always putting like an extra little sauce on the end, man. But I love it because it all adds up, okay? And so these are the 3 secrets of selling your art online. Let's get right into it, Affluent Artist. Secret number 1, how to make your artwork speak for itself and sell for $2,000 or more on Instagram, all right? Now, let me know if this sounds familiar. I told you I went to Art Basel, and I was trying to get back into the industry, so I started speaking to all of these so-called experts. And really, everybody was trying to discourage me from going full-time as an artist. They were like, well, Sherez, you're a dropout. Nobody really knows your name. You're just getting into it. You haven't really sold much art before. It's going to be hard for you to start really selling art for some significant prices. All right, just type me in the chat if that sounds familiar, if you've ever had that experience, okay? Now, I knew this was crazy because I knew that was something different, all right? And if you've ever experienced this, listen, I believe in your creative dreams because I am on the other side of this now, all right? And I knew this one secret, and that is success leaves clues. This is why I was so confident, all right? And so let's play a quick little game. I want you to have a little fun with me, and it's called Could You Do It Better? Just type yes or no in the chat if you think you can do this better, all right? There's no right or wrong answer. Just type yes or no in the chat if you think you could paint this piece better than what you see right here, okay? Now, this piece is titled Van Gogh, Portrait of Dr. Gachet, all right? Now, why is this piece famous? It is the story, friends, all right? And the story has to touch your collector's emotions, all right? You got to learn how to create powerful stories for your piece, and we're going to break this down and show you exactly how to do this. Now, this is how you sell your art for higher prices. I know some of you have been taught to base your price on time, right? The time it takes and also the size. But if you really think about that, it doesn't really make sense, right? If you sell your art based on time, as an artist, the more time you devote to your craft, the faster and more efficient you get at creating. And so it don't really it doesn't really make sense to charge less because you got better and faster at creating, right? That don't really make sense. And then the same thing with size. We know some wall art, right? Like this piece behind my head can be more valuable than murals on the side of a building, right? And so the way you sell your art for higher prices is by creating your very own art story, all right? And we got a framework. It's called ART Story. Make sure you get your pen and your pad down, and we're going to show you how to do this, okay? And now I discovered this secret at our very first live event. And so Melissa was one of the artists that was there. She creates beautiful art. You see how professional it is presented. She got her business cards there. She also creates wearable art. That's her head wrap on her head. And she told these incredible stories about each one of the pieces of her art. And this is how we were able to sell that piece for $2,000 at that very first event. And so the collector, he had no clue who she was, right? She has a great brand now. She's worked with so many people, the city of Atlanta, Spanx, Ford. She's, created live at conferences. And so I asked him, I was like, man, you don't know anything about her. You don't follow her on IG. Like, why did you invest $2,000 in an artist that you don't know anything about? And he simply said, Sharess, the art is great, but it was the story, right? And I never forgot that. He said it was a story. And so if you have this problem that I see all over social media, you posting your art and you're not really getting any sales, whether you're getting a little bit of engagement like this post, or you're getting a lot of engagement and comments and likes, but you're not making any sales, just add your art story and you can begin pre-selling your art before the original is completed. All right. So Jasmine did this exact thing. She says, sold. I posted this piece that I'm still working on last night, and I sold a pre-order print 9 a.m. this morning. Gratitude, art story, and organic conversations building relationships really work. All right. And she did this in the first 7 days of becoming an affluent artist. So you see that sold in 7 tag on the bottom down there. And so type yes in the chat if you want to sell your first and next piece for over $1,000, like Miss Raquel Miller here. All right. I love to show a lot of different artists because all of us are on a journey and everybody's continuously raising their prices. All right. And so Brescia, man, I was so proud of her. She said, I'm really still speechless because this sale was significant for a lot of reasons. One, it was the biggest piece that she had ever sold. It's a 60 by 48. And it was the highest price that she had ever sold at the time, which was $6,209. I told you, Brescia won't sell it for $6,200. They got to be $6,209. And that was for this beautiful abstract piece called Fearless Expanded. And so I want to read a bit about what the collector said that inspired them to actually make this investment. And so she said, my husband and I had a hard week in an already pretty messed up year. I know we're not special in any regards. Everything seems hard right now for everyone. When my husband and I saw your painting, we first both said, wow, we love that. And then we talked about how it made us feel. Hope, moving out of our comfort zone, leaving a bad year and entering a new place. Fearlessness. When we read your thoughts on it as well, it just seemed like we needed it in our home. Thank you for painting this beautiful piece. It will be the conversation piece of the many meals we share with friends as we embrace a new era in the world, one of expanding fearlessness. All right. So type yes in the chat if you see the power of the story from the Fearless Expanded piece that connected with these collectors' emotions and what they were going through at that time in their lives. I just type yes in the chat if you see how important the story was with the piece. All right, just type yes in the chat. And so we're going to show you how to create these powerful stories so you can start selling your art for higher prices and breaking your sales records like Brescia Jones. All right. And so get your pen and your pad. Let's get into this. So A equals the art star. So who's the art star in your art story? All right. Every story has to have a star. All right. And then R equals the role. What's your art star's role in the art story? What are they trying to do? What do they want to accomplish? What are they trying to overcome? And so like in Brescia's abstract piece, you're trying to overcome fearless, being fearless, right? All right. And then T equals twist. What's the emotional twist in your art story? And so if you like a good movie, man, you know they have you on the edge of your seat with twists and turns in a story that just keep pulling you in, and you're excited about what happens next. And so we can use this same type of framework with our visual art as well, okay? And so I want to go back to this Van Gogh piece and show you how they use the art story framework to sell this for an astronomical price at auction, okay? And so A equals art star. Who's the art star? That's Dr. Gachet. All right, R equals the role. He's Van Gogh's doctor. All right, that's simple enough. But then what's the twist, affluent artist? The twist is the doctor may have killed Van Gogh. And so y'all know people are nosy, man. They love being in folk business. And people were just wondering like, man, did Van Gogh paint his last picture of his killer? And this story became so sensationalized and people were telling it word of mouth that it actually ended up selling for a record-breaking $82.5 million at auctions at Christie's, okay? Now, listen, I want to have a little fun and draw a little line in the sand because I know some artists are here, they're just getting started. And so you're trying to get some sales for a few $100s. Some artists trying to get their first sale for $1,000 or more. Some trying to get their first sale for $10,000 or more. Some of y'all want to sell it for $100,000 or more, all right? But if you want to make millions with your art, man, put $82.5M in the chat for me. You can put the money bag emoji. You can put the smiley face with the money tongue. Let me know if you want to make millions in the chat, all right? Let me know in the chat because if you anything like me, I want to make millions with my art, okay? And so becoming an affluent artist and creating your art story allows your art to truly sell itself for higher prices. Type yes if you can see how your art story helps you sell more art. Just type yes in the chat if you can see the power of the art story and how it helps you raise your price, man. Listen, the power of that Van Gogh story helped them sell that piece for a record-breaking $82.5 million at the time. Brisha Jones was able to sell her piece for over $6,200, and that was her highest price at the time. And it was all based on that story touching the collector's emotions, okay? And so this works for you if you are a painter, a sculptor, if you do acrylic pouring, if you do jewelry, photography, mixed media, digital art, drawings, ceramics, collage, furniture, clothes, murals, metalworks, wearable art. It works for all affluent artists at all prices, okay? And so again, back to my friend Melissa, using the power of her art story, Melissa sold 100% of her available artwork at our very first event. And it was all based on the power of her story. I type yes in the chat again if you see the power of the art story on selling your art, okay? Man, let's get into secret number 2. All right, these are the 3 secrets of selling your art online. Secret number 2, how to sell art on autopilot and get collectors to buy with one click on one easy app. Now, I got to tell y'all this quick story because this piece really transformed my life and got me into helping artists the way I am today, okay? Because I really couldn't believe that this happened. And so I ended up running into one of my old classmates from the College of Art and Design, and he invited me to his art show, all right? And so I'm an artist, but I'm also an art collector. I love buying art and especially supporting local artists in my community. And so when I went to my guy's show, I saw this piece, man, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I love the colors. I love the hairstyle, the haircut, the earrings are fly. I like the expression. Like, I really like everything about this piece. And when I walked up to him, I was like, yo, I want to buy this piece. And he looked at me. He said, Sharess, I can't take your money. People usually cash at me. And my mouth literally hit the floor because he turned down my money. Like, I'm trying to put my business credit card in his chest and he turned down my money. And so listen, y'all, this is the old, slow, hard, and expensive way to sell art. And so if you turning down money, first thing first, rule number 1 is get paid. You got to get paid. All right, everybody put get paid in the chat. Rule number 1 is get paid. You got to be able to get paid for your talent. We can't be turning down money, okay? And so if you can't take payments in 2026, you got to step your game up and really position yourself as a professional artist, all right? If you're still using tools like Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, listen, these tools can work, but at certain price points, collectors don't want to send you a $5,000 or $10,000 Cash App. Why? They don't get a receipt. If you don't deliver the painting, they can't get a refund, right? And it's a lot of times, man, they want some type of certification and documentation with this, and you just don't get a paper trail the way they would like to, okay? And then again, on your side, man, when you're using these tools, you don't get their credit card information, and you oftentimes don't get their home or business address. And all of that stuff is valuable information for you to continue to make sales, okay? And then selling online, right, on social media. Put guilty in the chat if you've ever dropped a photo of your art and said something like email or DM me for price and got crickets. I just put guilty in the chat if you've ever experienced that, okay? And then taking orders on paper. Listen, I ain't gonna get you to tell on yourself, but if you're still taking orders on paper in 2026, you gotta step your game up, all right? And then applying and paying for shows. So I know if you are applying and paying for shows right now and it's working for you, continue to do that, all right? You can use what I'm about to share with you to sell more art at shows as well. But some artists, man, they paying for these applications, they paying for these shows, they rent trucks and vans, and they not selling anything. You got to take all of that stuff back home, and they sick and tired of that, okay? And then if you're getting low or no sales on your website or marketplace, this is going to help you solve their problem as well, all right? And so this is why we created Artwork, to make it easy for artists just like you to start selling your art, track all your sales, and access a global marketplace of collectors that can buy your art with one click like they're buying on Amazon, all right? And so artists are getting fast results with this, like Tiara. She sold Angels Among Strangers, and she was blown away. She said, I uploaded some of my original art on the app a couple of days ago, and about 30 minutes ago, got a notification that one of my pieces sold. Still in shock a bit at how quick the sale happened, but great way to end the night, okay? And so I'm going to show you a quick demo of Artwork. This is our demo account. We didn't want to have any sensitive collector data in here, but you're going to be able to see how easy it is to sell your art, track all of your sales and collectors, and how collectors can buy art with the click of a button.
Hey, my name is Sharess May, and I want to give you a quick demo of the Artwork app. So the Artwork app does two very simple things, all right? If you are an artist, it allows you to sell your art, get collectors all over the world, and manage all of the most important key metrics in your business. And if you are a collector, it makes it simple for you to buy art with the click of a button and track the value of your art collection, all right? And so I'm going to show you the artist side of the dashboard first, then I'll pause and take you to the collector side. So when you're logged in as an artist and you're on your sales dashboard, you'll see your gross revenue, how many pieces you sold, what's the average price, all right? And this sales graph will show you your sales over any amount of time. Right here, you can set a sales goal. If say you set it for $100,000, if you made some sales today, that number will be in blue at the top, and this dial will show you how much you've made. We haven't made any sales today. This is our test account. And if you hover over it, you can see how many sales you made today. And it's really simple to add a new goal as well. As you start making sales, you'll see your top sellers right here. So you see it by name, how many pieces you sold in case you have prints or multiples, and you'll see how much revenue you made from each piece. Right here under your new orders tab, you'll see your latest orders. And so you stay on top of what needs to be shipped out. Down here at the bottom, you'll see your top collectors. So you'll see them by name, how many pieces they own in their collection, and how much money they've invested with you in your art business, all right? And then once you go to your artwork tab, this is where you'll see all of the art that you have listed on the site, ready for sale, and also in the marketplace for collectors to buy with one click. So let's say you want to add art. It's very simple. You click add artwork. You just have to fill out these fields right here. And once you click save, it'll save it. I'm just going to close that. If you want to email it to a collector, you can click share offer, enter your collector's email, send the offer. Email is already pre-written. They can click directly to the link and buy your art. If you like to copy a link, you can copy it as normal and send it via text message or share it on social media. And also, if you want to delete your product, it's very simple and easy to delete. As collectors begin buying art from you, you'll see collectors in your dashboard. So you see all of the information right here, so you can contact with them and follow up with them and make future sales. If you click on that dashboard, you'll see a list of all of the art they purchased from you here. As your orders start coming through, you'll see your order and payment history right here. So you see if they were successful or failed transactions, all right, who bought it, the artwork, the purchase amount, and the date. And then as your money is being in transit to your bank account and deposited, you will also see your payouts here, all right? And so when you want to begin buying as a collector, all you have to do is click switch to collector, and it'll take you to the collection side of the marketplace, all right? And again, this is our test marketplace right here, but I'm going to pause for a moment to show you how simple it is to buy as a collector. So now I'm logged into the app as our test collector. And so you see when art is sold out, it'll be sold out in the marketplace, all right? And you can just scroll through the marketplace to check out all of the art that's available on the dashboard, all right? And so let's say if you want to buy something, it's very simple. You can click buy now. And if we have your card on file, you can choose which card you want to use. If you need to add a new one, you can do that. But let's say we want to select this card. We click confirm order. And it's that simple, all right? It's purchased. And so now if you want to go check your collection, you can click collection, and it'll take you to your collection. You see we just purchased this one right here, all right? So you can see all of your active collection. And as you are buying from artists, you can also see the artists that you're purchasing artwork from, all right? So I'm going to go back to the marketplace real quick. And let's say if you want to add it to your cart, you can add it to your cart. So you want to get a couple in there. And you can easily check your shopping cart and go to the checkout page and buy all of the pieces at the same time. So it's a very simple tool for artists to sell their art, and also for collectors to buy, track the value of their collection as well. All right. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Talk to you soon.
All right. Type yes in the chat if you love how simple and easy it is to use artwork. I want to see some yeses coming through. Y'all can drop some hearts for me in the chat. All right, so I want to answer a few FAQs. So artists, listen, you can set your own price. We like to write our art story in the description so collectors can see it when they go to your product page. And then collectors can buy multiple pieces just by adding to their shopping cart. And we also add the shipping fee to the art price, right? So if the piece is $1,000, and if it's $100 shipping, we just add it to the marketplace at $1,100. We also, artists, you ship the piece directly to collectors, okay? And then you get paid quickly. Sales are deposited into your account within 24 to 48 hours. And then artwork gets a small 10% commission, okay? And so again, I love showing all different type of price points and sales because I know we have artists that are just getting started. They don't know how to sell. They're selling their first piece. And then we also have some pros that are selling art for $10,000 or more, okay? And so here's Jennifer here. She sold Purpose on artwork for over $1,000. Tierra sold Bright Future. I love the pastel colors here. And then Veil of Night, man, that's a really cool sky by Christina. And then type yes in the chat if you want to sell a piece on artwork like Miss Magdalena sold Natural for $1,850. She said, I'm very happy. I sold my first piece in artwork. Many thanks to my new collector. This piece goes direct to Atlanta. And so now I've shown you how using the artwork app allows you to easily sell more art online and keep all of your prices, collector, and business info in one place. Type yes if you can see how this saves you time, money, and makes it simple. I just type yes in the chat. If you can see how it saves you time, which is your most valuable asset, it's going to save you money and makes it simple for you to sell your art. All right. All right. Now, listen, this is the third secret to selling your art online. And if you haven't taken a note, man, I highly encourage you to get a pen and pad out because we're going to show you how to find and attract the collectors that's spending millions on art with Sotheby's using Instagram and AI. All right. This is a artist favorite right here. Okay. So now after our first wave of affluent artist success, I knew I wanted to help more artists get high income collectors online with AI and online ads. And so let me know if this has happened to you because I've seen artists struggling to make sales with their posts on social media and in art groups. And so if you know, like I know, likes and comments does not equal money in the bank. All right. And so I love friends and family sales, but they run out, all right? But Tierra, she sold this $2,000 Galactic Jelly piece to a friend, and Mr. Emmanuel, he sold his portrait for $500 to a local friend at his church, all right? But again, you only have so many people in your network, friends and family sales start to run out, and sometimes we need global exposure, all right? If you want to start selling art outside of your community to different parts of your country or around the world, put global in the chat for me. I just put global in the chat. Now, because of my experience buying ads on social media, I knew there was only one place I needed to go to get ready to buy collectors, and that is Instagram. All right, everybody on Instagram, and it's a lot of art being sold on IG. Okay, and so Christy, man, she was brand new to selling online and using this method that I'm about to show you, and I was really personally blown away by her results. And she said, "Okay, I'm about to cry right now. On my own way of selling, I would have gotten $200 for this piece." She was just starting out. She said, it would have taken me a while to even get that. So I followed the steps of this course. I made an ad. I spent only $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 and sold my piece for $700. And it took me a few hours to sell. Okay. Now I want you to think a bit about your personal price point and what you sell your art for. And just type cents in the chat, CENTS, if it makes sense for you to invest $7 in ads to sell a piece for $700 or more, or whatever your price point is. Just put cents in the chat, okay? And so she was brand new to advertising art online. And so she got a $700 sale in only a few hours after advertising. And she made $2,350 in her first 3 weeks, and she was brand new at doing this, okay? And so again, artists, always remember that success leaves clues. If she can do this, you can absolutely do this, all right? And so Forbes, they posted about Sotheby's. They were saying that Sotheby's had a $363.2 million sale. And so the art market had passed that first major test out of the pandemic. All right. So people were spending millions of dollars on art online. Everybody was wondering, was people going to still buy art online? And they did. Okay. And then Business Insider said, for now, the art world has gone digital. And for some, that's for you and I and all the other affluent artists, that's a good thing. Artsy, which is an online art marketplace, said they saw a 92% increase in e-commerce sales in April, and interest from galleries have increased by 60%. Okay. And so listen, if it makes sense for you to target those collectors that's spending millions at Sotheby's, just type yes in the chat if that makes sense to you, because that makes sense to me, right? And so if you look at this screen right here, in the top left corner of that red box, it says location United States. All right. I'm in Atlanta. We're located in the US. You can start with whatever country that you're in. Okay. And I recommend you start in your country because the shipping is just going to be easier, the logistics around it. All right. And then in the bottom left red box, it says Sotheby's. All right. So again, type yes in the chat if it makes sense for you to target the collectors that's spending millions at Sotheby's. All right. And if that makes sense to you, like it makes sense to me, all you got to do is click that green create ad button, and it's going to take you to a place called detailed targeting. Okay. And so when we get to the detailed targeting section, we can target the Sotheby's brand because we know those collectors spending millions on art. But then we can type in this word financial to start targeting the top 5% of income earners, the top 10% of income earners, and the top 10 to 50% of household income earners. All right, everybody type financial in the chat, because when you put this financial layering on, it's going to let you target the wealthiest collectors that's already spending millions on Sotheby's. Okay. Now, if this is your first time hearing this information, man, you can put wow in the chat, put the mind blown emoji in the chat for me. Man, let me know how you're feeling in the chat. All right, give me a reaction in the chat if you didn't know that you could target wealthy collectors that's already spending millions on art. All right, it's really simple and easy to do with Meta, Facebook, and Instagram ads. Okay. And so I'm gonna show you a couple more examples to really drive this home. All right. So everybody know about Art Basel. Art Basel, Miami is one of the biggest art fairs in the world, if not the biggest. And people invest a lot to go to Art Basel, right? Think about it. You got to get a flight, hotel. You got to get your tickets to the event. You got to eat when you're down there, right? You down there on the strip, you having a good time. You paying for drinks, food, and you got to buy the art, right? So it's a major investment for the collectors and for the galleries that go down there. And so if we want to get in front of all of that traffic that's spending millions to go to Art Basel, all we got to do is select the Art Basel brand, type in that word financial, and then we could target the top 5% of household income earners that like Art Basel. We could target the top 10% of household income earners, and we could target the top 10 to 50% of household income earners that like Art Basel. Okay. All right, let me show you one more example. Here's Artsy. So we saw the Business Insider article that said Artsy had a 92% increase in online e-commerce sales. Okay. Type yes in the chat if it makes sense for you to start targeting those collectors that's starting to buy art from Artsy. All right, that makes sense to me. If we want to go ahead and target those collectors that's going to buy art at Artsy, all we got to do is target the Artsy brand, type in that word financial, and we can start targeting the top 5% of income earners, the top 10% of income earners, and the top 10 to 50% of income earners that like the Artsy brand. Okay. And so when we do this, artists, now we have what I call the keys to success. Okay. Because when you want to sell art, you have to have two very important things. First, these collectors have to have the willingness to buy art. And if you like Sotheby's, if you like Artsy, if you like Art Basel, I know you have the willingness to buy art. Okay. And the second thing is equally important. These collectors have to have the ability to buy art. And so when you put that financial layering on, and you know that these collectors are spending millions on art and they like these art brands, this type of access to this high end of the market changes everything. Okay. And affluent artists are using this to sell art worldwide. And so Nisha Kapoor, she was one of the first artists to sell art in Indian rupees. She said, Sharess, your system rocks. I got another celeb lead as a result of my ads, and we spoke on the phone, and the person is willing to buy. All right? She's selling art in Indian rupees. Miss Valerie, she's a grandmother. She used this strategy to sell over $3,250 from her ads. Okay. If she can do it, if a grandmother can do it, you can absolutely do it. Okay. And then Christy, she spent $45 on ads and made over $1,400 in a day and a half. She said, I received over 800 likes, 200 comments, 100 shares, and about 300 messages. Type yes in the chat if you like to get over 300 messages from collectors coming to you to buy your art. Okay. She said, I got 14 sales and about 10 possibles. So in a day and a half, $45 and 14 hours work, I pulled in $1,400. I hope everyone in this group realizes we struck gold. Okay. And then my man Joe, he said, and this happened last night. So type yes in the chat if you want to start selling art in your sleep. So Joe sold a $2,000 piece from his ads while he was asleep. How are you able to do that? Because your art ads are going 24/7. And so I know y'all have seen ads on Facebook and Instagram, sponsored posts, right? We're going to show you how to set that up so your ads are going 24/7, bringing you new collectors, and you can start selling art and waking up to sales like my man Joe right here, okay? And so now I've shown you how to find wealthy, ready to buy collectors with AI and Instagram ads, all right? As an affluent artist, can you see yourself using this secret to get high paying collectors? Just type yes in the chat if you can see yourself using this to start getting high paying collectors, okay? I want to see some yeses coming through. Let's rock and roll, man. This right here will change your life if you execute, okay? And so far you discover how to create your art story to raise your prices like Bresha Jones. You discover how artwork makes it easy to share your art via text, email, and social. You discover how to sell your art to a worldwide collector marketplace, how to get collectors to buy your art with one click like on Amazon, and how to use that financial layering to target high-income collectors on Instagram, okay? And so knowing what you know now, do you feel more confident pricing your art? Just type yes if you feel more confident pricing your art. Are you happy you attended this class today? Just type yes, man. I love doing this live. Type yes if you are happy that you attended this class today, all right? And do you realize the advantage you have as an artist using these techniques? Just type yes in the chat. And can you see yourself using this to sell more art? Just type yes if you can see yourself using that financial layering and targeting big brands like Sotheby's and Art Basel to sell more art, all right? And can you see yourself using this to get new collectors? I want to see some yeses coming through in the chat, okay? And so artists, now you got two choices. You can do what you always do, but if you do this, you'll get the same results, okay? I know a lot of you are here. Some of you are just getting started. Many of you, you're already selling art, but you want to get more consistency and predictability with your sales, so we can help you do that, all right? Choice number two, you can sell with our handheld mentorship, and we help you get 10 or more new collectors every single month, all right? And so would this transform your life? Just type yes in the chat if you follow what I showed you in secret number one and use any art story so your art sells itself on Instagram. And then you did what I revealed in secret number two, so you can use the artwork app to easily sell more of your art. And then you use secret number three to get access to the same high-paying collectors on Instagram that the rich auction houses and galleries attract. Do you think you could be successful? Just type yes in the chat. And what if I helped you? Just type yes in the chat if you would like my help, if you want to know how me and my team can help you accomplish this, okay? And so I want to introduce you to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. It's a fun and easy 5-step system for visual artists to raise their prices and get 10 or more new collectors every month online. And so part number one is the Affluent Artist Masterclass, all right? This is our simple 5-step system. And so step number one is mindset. This is where we cover the millionaire mindset so you can get rid of any starving artist broke habits, okay? Step number two is price. This is where we teach you that luxury pricing method so you can start charging your worth and making higher prices and breaking your sales goals like Bresha Jones, okay? And then step number three is sold. This is where we show you our cash collector framework so you can start getting sales before you spend money on ads, all right? And then step number four is collectors. This is where we show you how to build a collector community so collectors buy from you for a lifetime. And then step number five is marketing. This is where we show you how to use Facebook and Instagram ads and use that financial layering so you can start targeting those high-income collectors, all right? And so here's my guy, Christian Jones. I want you to listen to him tell his story about the transformation that he went through when he became an affluent artist.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? It's Christian Lamar here, and I'm a portrait artist from VA. Now I just want to tell y'all why I joined the Affluent Artist Masterclass. I went to a great art school and learned from some phenomenal artists, but they never taught me how to sell my work. So after I graduated, I struggled, like, to the point of almost wanting to give up on my dream of being a professional artist. Well, this course changed all of that. It showed me how to turn my art into a business, and most importantly, how to sell online. So now I can sell to anyone, anywhere. And the results are super quick. I made my first sale within 30 hours of starting the program and made just under $1,500 within the first 5 days. And now that I'm in week 4, I've made just over $4,000. And it's super easy to follow. Like, if you're like me and you're ready to fulfill your dreams of being a professional artist, give the program a shot. And you also get to join a community of artists that share their experiences every day of what works. So join me and the family in becoming a fluent artist today. All right. Peace.
Shout out to my guy, Christian Lamar, man. So again, a fluent artist. This works for you if you are a painter, a sculptor, you do acrylic pouring, jewelry, photography, mixed media, digital art, drawing, ceramic, collage, furniture, clothes, murals, metalworks, wearable art. It works for all the fluent artists at all prices, all right? And so type yes in the chat, man. If you want to sell a piece for 4K or more like Miss Joy up in Canada, this works for artists all over the world, all right? She sold this this mural, Happy Trails, and I love when they put that cash on the table, all right? So we always tell the truth about making sales, and so that's $4,000 Canadian cash on the table right there, okay? And so this works even if your art isn't ready. One of the big things I hear artists say is, man, I need a big portfolio before I start selling. Listen, that's not true. You can start pre-selling the art even before it's done, just like Jasmine did right here. She was still working on a piece. She posted her art story and she started selling pre-ordered prints the following morning, okay? The original was still incomplete. And so when you join today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass, and that's a $5,000 value, okay? Part number 2, we're going to give you an artwork gold account, all right? And so I want you to imagine collectors buying from anywhere in the world, like Jen sold Emergence and Power for over $2,700. She said, I'm so happy and grateful to have sold this piece. I'm going to supersize my fries tonight. And just imagine your new life selling art anywhere, man. You'll be able to travel, hang out with your friends and family. As long as you got Wi-Fi, you can start making sales like Miss Yvonne Pitts. And I love how collectors get their kids involved in collecting art early, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, okay? And so when you get your artwork gold account, you'll be able to accept payments up to $1 shy of $1 million. You can easily sell your art anywhere, in person or online. You'll be able to track your art sales and collect the information in one place. Collectors can buy your art with one click, and collectors can track their net worth in your art, all right? And you also be able to get rid of a lot of tools, save a lot of money, okay? So if your website isn't selling, you can get rid of your website fees using tools like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Again, some collectors don't want to pay you certain price points with these tools. If you're still using tools like Artsy, Etsy, and art storefronts, and you're not making any money, you can get rid of those. Shopify, Artwork Archive, Fine Art America. Again, if you're not making any sales with these, you can get rid of those as well. And then the most important asset is your time, all right? And losing that time trying to figure this online art sales stuff out on your own, you can join a community that's going to help you make sure that you get results, okay? And so again, as an artist, when I first started, I didn't know how to manage my art sales in one place or how to track how much my collectors spent with me. I also didn't have a global marketplace where collectors could buy with one click. So I had to create artwork for myself, okay? And so you'll be able to save time and money because 6 years ago, I had to spend over $60,000 in 3 years to figure out how to create an app to solve this problem for me. Now, I don't want you recreating the wheel, so I'm going to give you an artwork account with this package so you can skip the cost, the trial, and the error, all right? And so again, just like Tierra sold Angels Among Strangers, man, she put up her art, and within like 30 minutes, she got a notification that one of her pieces sold and said she was shocked at how quick the sale happened, okay? And if you're not tech savvy, that is not a problem. We design artwork to be so simple that children artists can use it, okay? And so when you join today, you're going to get access to the the Affluent Artist Masterclass and that artwork gold account, and that's a $6,200 value, all right? And then part number 3 is the Affluent Artist community. So we have a global network of artists and collectors that love serving and that want to see you succeed. And so when you join today, you get access to our private Affluent Artist School community. So this gives you the knowledge, community, encouragement, and motivation you need to succeed in your art career. You can access the program and community anytime from anywhere in the world, and you get unlimited support. You get 24/7 school group, and we have a live weekly sales session where you can talk to real people to make sure you get all of your questions answered, all right? And the sales session is a great call, man, because we on with all the other artists. They're sharing their wins. They're sharing how they made their sales so you can get sales too, all right? And one of the things I love most about the community is just how we got so many different artists from different backgrounds and ages. And so Sanyu, she started when she was 9 years old, and you see she making that cash, man. And so I got to meet them when they came to Atlanta right there, her and her mom, Miss Jovan. And then Miss Phyllis, she's a grandmother. She joined when she was 73, and she made a sale in her very first week, okay? She said, I introduced myself, showed a few images, watched the welcome videos and the collector practice videos, and I sold 2 drawings, all right? So it happened just like that. And so I want you to imagine being surrounded by a community artist that's committed to helping you 24/7. And so my man Sean right here, he's a photographer. I love that he posted this lesson. He said, lesson learned, follow up every time. You never know why somebody ghosts you. I thought maybe my price was too high for her and she was gone for good. Don't make up your own story as to why they didn't call back. Just follow up and be polite. All right. Powerful, powerful lesson right there. And so when you join today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass, the Artwork Gold account, and you become a member of the Affluent Artist community. And that's a $7,400 value. Okay. And then we got some powerful bonuses for you as well. So bonus number 1, that luxury pricing method. All right. So if you're tired of putting time and skill into your art, only for buyers to continue lowballing you and not respecting the true value of your art, man, when you get this luxury pricing method, you're going to be able to get like Christy. She said, holy smokes, I reached out to an old friend and supporter of my art and landed a $1,000 mural job. The system works. I was thinking of asking for $800, was hoping for $600, but I boldly asked $1,000 and she didn't hesitate. All right. And so Christy, she's a single mom. She watched this class that you're on right now, and she made $1,350 in the first 5 days. All right. So artists are getting sales fast using these methods. Okay. And then Jen, she just put the crying emoji after she sold Breakthrough 2 for $5,840. Okay. And then Brisha Jones, I showed you how she used that art story to break her sales record. She was speechless because she sold Fearless Expanding for over $6,200. All right. And so I want you to imagine your confidence skyrocketing because your art story has collectors emotionally invested in buying your art at any price. And so this is your new reality when you become an affluent artist. And so when you join today, you're going to get the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get your Artwork Gold account. You become a member of the Affluent Artist community, and you're going to get that luxury pricing method bonus. All right. And that's a value of $8,400. Okay. And then bonus number 2 is our automated collector system. And so this is a collection of website templates that's pre-built for you. All you got to do is add your art, your words, and your videos. We have automated text messages and automated emails that you will send to your collectors to get them to continue to buy from you on autopilot. All right? It's a powerful, powerful system, and you get access to that as a bonus when you join today, okay? And so this is what Christy used. She spent $45 on ads, and she made over $1,400 in a little over a day, all right? And so this flat out works. 14 sales, 10 possibles, over 300 messages from collectors that's looking to buy her art. It's an automated system, all right? And so I know many artists, they suffer from feast or famine income, where you sell art some months and some months you don't sell at all, or you don't hit your previous sales record, okay? And so I spent years investing time and money testing which art ads and sales pages work best to turn clicks to collectors so you can have collectors coming to you 24/7. And so when we get an endless flow of new interested collector leads joining your email list and buying your art 24/7, this gives you predictable cash to grow your art brand and collector community while sales come in at the same time. If you already have a website that's not selling how you like it, listen, you can keep it if you built it and you want to keep it, or you can get rid of it and save the money. It doesn't really matter to me, all right? Because you can use ours to get new collectors coming to buy your art every day like clockwork, all right? And so when you join today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get access to the Artwork Gold account. You become a member of the Affluent Artist community. You're going to get some powerful bonuses as well, all right? Bonus number 1 is that luxury pricing method. Bonus number 2 is that automated collector system, and that's a $9,600 value, okay? And bonus number 3, we're going to help you find high-income collectors with me, okay? If you want to find them high-income collectors that's already spending millions on art with Instagram ads, we're going to show you how you can do that with me, all right? So many artists, they struggle to get exposure to collectors that can afford their art at the prices you think is worth, all right? Now, I spent over $250,000 on Instagram ads figuring out the best way to target buyers with money. And so you get instant access to what's working now with Instagram ads and AI. And so, again, we're going to show you how to use that financial layering to target collectors that's already spending millions at brands like Sotheby's, okay? And so you're going to be able to get exposed to collectors with disposable cash. You'll be able to leverage AI to target the best collectors for your style. And you're going to be able to predictably get new collectors 24/7 with your ads, all right? And so, Jen, when you start targeting high-end collectors, man, you'll be able to start just testing out new prices like Jen did. So she said, I got another deposit for a commission, $4,369. I just threw out a random number and they said, can they pay it in 3? Okay. And then Jasmine, man, she needed to make $5,000 a month to quit her job to go full time. She implemented this system and she ended up making $5,527 in the first week. All right, this is what happens when you start targeting high-end collectors, okay? And then like Isha, type yes in the chat if you want to sell your first or next piece for over $10,000, okay? She got this custom commission. She installed it, this 5-panel. It is absolutely beautiful, okay? And so when you join today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get your Artwork Gold account. You become a member of the Affluent Artist community, and you're going to get that luxury pricing method, the automated collector system, and you'll be able to find your collectors with me as a bonus, all right? That's a total value of over $10,600. Now, artists, if all this did was help your art tell stories so your artwork truly sold itself, how would that help your art career? Let me know in the chat, okay? And if all this did was help you easily sell your art online in any economy, or if all it did was help you get an infinite amount of high-paying collectors following you and buying your artwork, let me know in the chat. How would that help your career? All right. Now, putting this program together, I had 2 choices. Option 1, I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, but that wouldn't really incentivize me to really stack the value. Okay. And so the section option required a little higher investment. But in exchange, my team and I can devote more resources to guarantee your success. And so you got to ask yourself, what are your dreams worth to you? Right? If you were making money every day because you were successfully selling your art to collectors on Instagram, what would that be worth to you? Just type in the chat what that would be worth to you, okay? And how much would you pay to have one automated collector system sell your art online 24/7? And so you can see why artists have paid $10,000 for similar results for me, because it's not a cost, it's an investment, all right? And so you see why it's worth over 10K, but even at $5,000 for the general public, it's a great deal, all right? Isha sold selling pieces for over 10K. Brisha sold selling pieces for over $5,000. But because you watch this masterclass and I want to help as many artists as possible, I'm going to give you a very special offer. When you go to affluentartist.com, you won't have to invest anywhere near the normal $5,000 price, all right? Now, oftentimes when we do a discount, we may do like 30% off, and that's normally a $3,500 value, okay? But when you go to affluentartist.com, you can get our special 94% off for $9.99 when you go to affluentartist.com, all right? And we also have a partnership with Afterpay, Affirm, and Klarna, so you can get started for as little as $47.96 when you go to affluentartist.com. If you need help ordering, text JOIN to 470-777-7549, okay? Again, that's 470-777-7549. Text JOIN, all right? And so again, we got a partnership with Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna, where you can buy now and pay later, all right? Depending on your payment plan, you don't even have to pay any interest, okay? And so Klarna, you can get started with as little as $47.96, which is a drop in the bucket to get access to this powerful automated collector system to begin selling your art. So go to affluentartist.com right now to sign up. You can pay in full, or you can use buy now, pay later. And if you need help ordering, text JOIN to 470-777-7549. All right. And so artists are using this to make sales every single day, like Dwayne, like Sean, Miss Valerie, Miss Phyllis. And if you wanted to get your hand held in person, we do have what we call the $1 Million Artist Mastermind, which is a $25,000 investment to join this in-person mastermind. And so Jasmine and Demetria were 2 of the artists that were at the mastermind. And so Jasmine, she said, y'all, I am at a loss for words here. Artwork masterminds beyond anything I imagined. Demetria said, OMG, the past few days are one for the books with me. This experience has motivated me to really present the best version of myself. An absolute game changer, okay? But you can join for a fraction of that by going to affluentartist.com and joining our team online, okay? And so getting this type of one-to-one help, Jasmine, she was able to sell over $5,527 in the first week, okay? And so you can access that when you go to affluentartist.com to sign up today, okay? And so if you were to hire an online marketing professional or to go back to art school or attempt to get a dealer to sell your work to collectors for you, it might cost you over $25,000, 50% of your profits, or years of your life trying to figure this out, okay? But you can join today for a fraction of that when you go to affluentartist.com. And even if you finance it with Klarna, that's only $1.60 per day to start selling your art online. That's like a breakfast sandwich at McDonald's, okay? And so artists, you got two choices. Choice one, you can do it on your own. But again, if you do this, you'll continue to get the same results that you've been getting, all right? Choice number two, you can get our handheld mentorship and start getting 10 or more new collectors every single month when you become an affluent artist at affluentartist.com, all right? And we're so confident in our ability to help you sell your art. You are protected by 110% money back guarantee. And so if you sign up now, if Affluent Artist does not help you sell more art and get more collectors, you'll have two options. Option number one, you follow the steps, decide it's not for you, and win 110% of your money back, all right? Option number two, you will grow as an affluent artist. You say, Sherez, I really want to become an affluent artist. I want to start getting 10 or more collectors and hitting my revenue goals and surpassing them. Man, we'll personally help you until you achieve that result, okay? Now, why do we do this? Listen, we do it for a very selfish reason. That's because I know that it's a win-win, all right? This makes it a no-brainer for you to join, and I know we can help you succeed. And so when you sign up, I know for a fact one of these two things will happen. One, you will get 10 or more new collectors every single month, or you will win $1,100 a month just for trying it out, okay? And so there are a few qualifications to get the 110% money back guarantee, all right? So first, you got to earn 100% completion by watching the Affluent Artist Masterclass, okay? Number two, you got to obviously take action on the Affluent Artist Masterclass, okay? And then we want you to attend the live sales sessions every week so we can answer your questions so you don't be stuck trying to figure stuff out on your own. And most importantly, we want you to sell art. Use the information to sell art, okay? And then share your results on social media about your experience as an affluent artist. And so either way, your profit is guaranteed, okay? So option number one, you follow the steps. For whatever reason, you decide it's not for you, and you can win your money back. Option number two, you say, Sherez, listen, I want to grow as an affluent artist, and we will continue helping you get 10 or more new collectors every single month when you go to affluentartist.com, all right? And so the real question you got to ask is this worth just taking a few minutes to check it out, okay? You know, listen, even if it does half of what I say today, it would pay for itself as soon as you sell one painting for $1,000, all right? So you're just one collector away from really transforming your art career and being able to have an automated system to sell art online, all right? And so again, when you join today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You'll get the Artwork Gold account. You become a member of the Affluent Artist community, and you're going to get 3 powerful bonuses, all right? Bonus number one is that luxury pricing method. Bonus number two, you get that automated collector system. And then bonus number three, you'll be able to find your high income collectors with me, okay? And so that's a total value of over $10,600. Now, you may be looking at this intentionally blank slide right here. And this is because this is a editing marker for me, all right? And so if you're here right now, what I'm about to say next is here just because you are live, and I want to give you a great, great deal because you're live, all right? And so for everybody that's on live that buys before this webinar is over, you're going to get a free lifetime Artwork Gold account, all right? So normally this is $99 a month, but it's going to be free for you forever, okay? You'll be able to upload unlimited art. You'll be able to access our global marketplace of collectors, and many artists make sales in the first 7 days, okay? So remember, you're just one collector away. You're going to get a free lifetime Artwork account, and that's only for artists that buy live. Again, you can go to affluentartist.com, sign up. We got financing with Affirm, Afterpay, and Klarna, so you can really get started for less than $48. If you need help ordering, you can text JOIN to 470-777-7549, okay? So artists, get started right now. If you got a question, type your question in the chat. I'm going to do a recap of the offer. We're going to answer some FAQs, okay? So again, when you get started today, you're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get that Artwork Gold account. You be able to become a member of the Affluent Artist community. You're going to get that luxury pricing method, the automated collector system, and you'll be able to find your collectors with me, all right? That's a total value of over $10,600. We got a special 94% off for only $9.99 when you join at affluentartist.com, all right? And on that checkout page, feel free to use Afterpay, Affirm, and Klarna. You can get started for only $47.96 per month when you join at affluentartist.com. If you need help ordering, text JOIN to 470-777-7549. All right. So again, artists are using this to make sales every day. Like my guy Blue Robin here. Diana say happy Friday when she getting paid. More sales from Dwayne Santana selling art, Mr. Bill selling art. I just got paid. So now at this point, I see some artists have signed up, and that makes me happy, man. Congratulations. We are excited to have you in the community. But some of you are still here, though, all right? And I can tell you're getting ready to sign up, but you have a question you need to answer first before making that decision, all right? So let's address those questions in the time that we have left. If you got a question, type your question in the chat. I'll be here to answer as many questions as I can. Let us know, okay? Some artists want to know, what if I already have a website? So if you aren't making sales on your website, you can send all of your collectors to artwork, and you can use our automated collector system so you can eliminate hosting costs and those monthly fees, all right? Do collectors need an artwork account? So collectors can buy as a guest, but we encourage them to get an artwork account so they can track their art collection. How do I afford the investment? Listen, that's a great question. And so many artists afford the investment by using what they learned today to start pre-selling their art, right? So for example, Jasmine was working on this Chadwick Boseman piece, and she used her art story on social media, and she pre-sold prints the following morning, all right? So again, in secret number one, we showed you the ART story framework. So you literally can start using that tonight for free to start selling art. And if you feel like you need help with your storytelling, you can use ChatGPT and leverage AI to do the work for you, okay? She said gratitude, art story, and organic conversation building relationships really work. So you can afford the investment by using what you learned today, all right? Some artists want to know, how do I make the time? So listen, Brisha Jones, she's a single mom, and she made the time to sell this piece for $2,572, okay? And so one of the things that we do to make the time is establish what we call a success block, all right? And we do this in the morning. And so many artists start out waking up an hour or two earlier, all right? You got to have the discipline to get in bed on time. But if you wake up an hour or two earlier, you feeling fresh and refreshed, and you start working on your art business, man, this is the best time because you're giving like the best, most rejuvenated version of yourself to your dreams and your goals, and it becomes easier to really start to take off, okay? And so if you invest into yourself and work on your business first before you give your time to your family, your friends, your job, or doing whatever else, and then coming home later and trying to do it while you're tired, right? It's going to make a world of a difference, okay? Some artists want to know, can I do this anywhere in the world? Absolutely. Miss Joy is in Canada. You see, she was using these principles to start selling art, and she got that $4,000 Canadian cash on the table right there, okay? As long as you got the Wi-Fi, you are good to go. Some artists want to know, what if I'm just getting started? Listen, that's a great question. And I actually think if you're just getting started, that's the best place to be because you don't have any bad habits to unlearn. And one of my favorite stories to illustrate this is when Tierra became an affluent artist, she started selling art and she really inspired her kids to do the same. And so she started teaching her boys that were 2, 5, and 7 years old at the time how to sell their art, okay? She was showing them how about finance and how to make a profit, how to create mission, buying and supplies, setting goals. And so they had a goal to make over $250, but with the support of their family and friends, they made over $500 selling their art, man. She said she was proud of them. I am as well, okay? And so some artists want to know, is this process too hard or technical? Listen, absolutely not, all right? There is some technology involved, but if a 68-year-old grandmother can do it and sell over $10,000, you can do it too, okay? She said she was taking her time setting up these new to me apps, and out the blue, collectors have bought 2 of her paintings, okay? She said, feeling blessed, everything falling in place, the program works. And so artists, I know some of you are trying to figure out how you can join. So listen, you got to get the resources or be resourceful like Miss Stacy here. And so before she joined, she was having some financial challenges as well, but she was resourceful. She got the investment, and she was excited that she did. She said, yes, it works after she made her first sale. So she made a call to a friend, offered to sell all 3 paintings, and the collector took all 3. And again, something that continues to happen with artists in this program, man, when you do one thing well and you get surrounded by a community of winners, man, their success just starts to compound. And so Miss Stacy, man, she went from like trying to have to figure out how to get the resources to join to being featured in the launch of a new hotel in Phoenix where she lives, okay? So it's a very powerful story and turnaround, man. I'm super proud of Miss Stacy. Some artists want to know, is there too much competition? So listen, absolutely not. There's more than enough abundance for all of us to sell our art and make money, okay? And so again, I'm an artist and a collector. And if you were to look around the home right now, there's literally art from, I mean, literally every wall has a different artist on the wall, okay? And so if you know collectors, man, they love to buy art from different types of creators because it's all about that joy of just really experiencing the art and the stories that they tell, okay? And so the artwork commission is only 10%. But more important than that is you get to keep all your collectors' data. And so sometimes when you do business with galleries and dealers, they'll take 30 to 50% of your profit. And they often do not give you the collector's data because they don't want you to go direct and cut them out of their fee, okay? We give you all of your collector's information because we actually want you to build a direct relationship with them and continue to have lifelong sales from these collectors, okay? And some artists want to know, what budget do I need for ads? So you only need as little as $5 a day to get started, okay? So you saw how Chrissy has spent $7 and some change to sell her art for $700 or more. Man, you can get started with a budget of $5 a day to get in the game. But always remember, the more you invest in ads, the more collectors you reach, the more money you make, okay? And so, you know, man, being a full-time artist really beats working a 9 to 5 any day, man. So Mia, when she became a full-time artist, man, she was getting these $2,000 commissions from collectors. And I love this piece she did for this 2-year-old bedroom, man, and just building a deeper relationship with the parents. And then also, man, it's really all about that community support that creates your success habits. When you surround yourself with winners that are making sales and making money, it becomes easier for you to do the same because they're showing you exactly what to do. And it's also, man, you get like this little friendly competition where it's like, if they can do it and they can sell art, I know I can. All right. So get access and become a member of our Fluent Artist community when you join at affluentartist.com. And so if you've been searching for ways to sell your art online for any amount of time, if you looked on YouTube, Google, Instagram, if you're reading books, watching videos, you know that information alone is not enough to get you the transformation that you need, okay? And so you need mentorship, you need guidance, you need a step-by-step process. Ideally, you need collectors to come to you. And so if you want to get booked and busy like Toya, go to affluentartist.com and join right now, all right? And so as we close out, if you got a question, type it in the chat. But you really got to ask yourself, artists, do you want money or do you want excuses? Because you cannot have both. And so my guy, John Tate, he decided that he wanted money. He followed the program. Next thing we know, he's selling pieces over $2,000. Like he got this lamb piece from these lovely collectors right here, okay? And so you got to decide what you want. Do you want money or do you want to stick to your old excuses and stories, okay? And one of the things that I want to make sure that you really calculate is what we call the true cost of inaction, okay? What if this helped you start selling just one piece per week, regardless of your price point? Like, would that be worth $1.60 per day? Just type yes in the chat, all right? Of course it would be worth that. But what's the true cost of inaction? What's the cost of procrastinating this month and all the sales that you're going to lose out on? What's the cost of procrastinating in the months in the summer that's coming up and missing out on sales all of those months that you could be getting, okay? And so you got to really think about that. It's more than just not doing nothing and staying where you are. You literally could be making revenue if you invest into yourself and you take action. And so you got to ask yourself, is it really worth missing months of art sales because you're trying to save $1.60 per day? All right. Of course it's not. Because if you follow this, one of the steps I shared on today's event, you can make a profit in the first week when you go to affluentartist.com and join our community. All right. Another way that you can get the investment, man, you can ask your family and friends to become your investors. In my experience, family and friends love to invest into you when you got a plan that you're going to follow and a community supporting you, okay? And so Miss Valerie, she started making sales. She said, family, I want to share, finish this today. Posted it 3 hours ago, sold to a collector. And Miss Kelly, she got to sell her first week in the program, okay? And you also have the option to get PayPal to invest into you. So they got a great program called PayPal Credit where they offer no payments plus no interest if you pay it in full in 6 months. All right. So you can go to paypal.com/credit to apply. You'll know within seconds if you are approved for that. Okay. And then again, we also have a partnership with the firm Afterpay and Klarna where you can buy now and pay later. All right. And depending on your payment plan, you don't even have to pay any interest. And the interest is really small. Literally, some artists, man, they start selling their first piece for more than this, and they cover it in their first sale. Okay, so go to affluentartist.com. You can select one of these options at checkout, and you can join today. All right. If you need help ordering, feel free to text join to 470-777-7549. If you use Klarna for 24 months, you can join for as little as $47.96. All right, it's a very, very small investment to get access to our full system and the value that you're going to get. All right. So, artists, the time is now, man. Congratulations to the artists that joined. If you're ready to start selling art like Miss Raquel West here, she said, after connecting with Sharess and noting and actively implementing the wisdom that I learned without negotiation or hesitation, this collector purchased this piece in my $1,200 asking price. I am beyond grateful for the knowledge and the quick turnaround. All right. You can get access to this same system when you go to affluentartist.com. So my team and I, we're excited to accomplish your dreams together. Let's do it, okay? Because we know that your struggle with selling art is real. We are artists as well. So when it's gone from your life, just let me know, how will you feel? Like, how much better will your life be when you're making sales and you got an automated collector system that's bringing you new collectors from Instagram? All right. Just how much stress does working that job and never really having enough money cause in your mind and your body? Okay. Because listen, after you become an affluent artist, it's gone. It's like poof. All right. Let me know if you can feel that difference. Okay. And it all starts by going to the link below and joining now. So I'm going to walk you through this checkout process as we close out. If you got a question, I see we still got some artists here. Type your question in the chat. Let me pop out here real quick. And we are going to go to the order form. All right. So when you type in affluentartist.com, it's going to take you to our order form. It says, yes, Sharess, I'm in. And it's going to break down the offer. We're going to recap the 110% money back guarantee. All you got to do is put in your name, email, phone number, address, choose your payment option. If you want to talk to our team and get this fast sales success call, just add that to your order just like that. All right. Really simple. And then you can choose your payment options. Okay. You can choose PayPal. You can enter your 16-digit card number, the expiration, your 3-digit security code, your country, and your zip. And you can also use Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. Again, if you use Klarna, you can get started for as low as $47.96. Man, it's a great, great deal. And they have other payment plans as well. Okay. And after you ready to join, click join now, and we'll see you on the inside. Make sure you check your email for your receipt and access to the full program. Is going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to get in, how to get started and how to get access to everything. Okay. And so, artists, again, get started now. When you join at affluentartist.com, man, my team and I, we're going to be ready to serve you. All right. So join, get started at affluentartist.com. You're going to get access to the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get that Artwork Gold account. You're going to get access to the Affluent Artist community. You're going to get that luxury pricing method, the automated collector system, and you'll be able to find your collectors with me. All right. That's a total value of over $10,600, but we have a special 94% off for only $9.99 when you join at affluentartist.com. And also, we got a partnership with Afterpay, Affirm, and Klarna. So you can get started for as little as $47.96 per month when you join at affluentartist.com. All right. If you need help ordering, text join to 470-777-7549. All right. We're excited to serve you and see you on the inside. I don't see any questions at the moment. I'll stick around for a couple of more minutes to see if a question comes through. All right. But if we don't have any questions, we're going to get up out of here, man. You got a few more days to join before this offer expires in a little bit over 72 hours. So make sure that you take action and join today, man. Congrats to the artists that joined. Everyone else, we're excited to see you inside. Join at affluentartist.com. Man, I highly recommend using the financing with Afterpay, Affirm, and Klarna. Man, they got a great deal where you can get started for as little as $47.96 per month. All right. You can get started, start selling art with us, man. And man, just really transform your art career. If you've been selling art at shows, offline events, or if your sales online have been inconsistent, hit or miss with your posts, we're going to show you how to advertise your art on Instagram to bring collectors to you with that automated collector system, and also how you can access a global marketplace of collectors when you get your Artwork Gold account. All right. And so if I don't have any questions, I don't see any, we're going to get up out of here. All right. So peace and much love to everybody. congrats to everybody that joined. Get started now. I'm gonna do one more recap. When you join today, you're gonna get the Affluent Artist Masterclass. You get that artwork gold account. You become a member of the Affluent Artist community, and you're gonna get some powerful bonuses today as well. So bonus number 1 is that luxury pricing method. Bonus number 2 is that automated collector system. And then bonus number 3, you're gonna be able to find your collectors with me. All right, that's a total value of over $10,000. You can join today for that 94% off special for only $9.99 when you enroll at affluentartist.com. And remember, you can join with Afterpay or Firm and Klarna to get started for only $47.96. All right. So peace and much love to everybody. Man, we'll see everyone that joined on the inside of the community. If you're still here, you got a little bit more time to join. A little bit about 3 days, 72 hours before this offer expires and goes back to the normal price. All right. So peace and much love to everybody. We're going to get up out of here and we'll see y'all next time. All right.